Next.js 16 just dropped with a bunch of performance and caching improvements. It also includes support for React 19.2. In this video, I'll show you how to send emails using Resend from your Next.js application. We'll learn a lot about working with any form in React. And if you stick around to the end, I'll even show you some fun improvements we can make with the new View Transitions component from React. You ready? Let's go. Here I've got a Next app with a simple contact form. You can grab all the code down below. And I've also got a simple server action. Note the use server directive at the top. This means the file will only be run on the server, so we can safely do protected backend functionality like sending emails. React gives us a built-in hook called useActionState. Let's pass in the first two parameters, our action, which we'll import, and the initial state, which for us will be an empty object. I'll type these with form state and form data. Now this React hook handles the form submission and passes back an array with 3 values. The current state, a new action we can use to submit the form, we'll call it form action, and the isPending flag that tells us if there's a pending transition. Let's connect these values to the form. We'll add form action to the form actions attribute. This will handle our form submission. Then let's set the disabled attribute on the input and also on the button to toggle on whenever we're pending. And while we're at it, let's update the button text as well to show submitting whenever we're waiting on the action. Finally, we've got our state, which we'll use to update the UI. If we're successful and we have a message back from the action, we'll show a success message. And if there's an error, let's show the error message. Now let's test it. When I fill out the form, my success message should show. And a failing email address will be caught by my validation and show the error message. So it's all over but the sending. So let's add Resend. To start, I'll npm install Resend, which adds Resend's Node SDK to my project. Then in my action, I'll instantiate Resend. To authenticate, I'll need to pass along an API key for my account. So let's grab that now. In my Resend account under API keys, I'll create a new key, give it a descriptive name, create it, and then copy the value. Then in my project, let's create a .env file to store the key safely and define Resend API key and paste in the copied key. Finally, back in the action, I'll add the environment variable and add a simple call to send the email. Super simple, right? Now, you may have noticed that the from address is onboarding at resend.dev. We'll talk about that in a moment, but for now, let's test the flow. So I'll add my email address again, and that's it. It's successful. If I go to my account, I'll see the email in the dashboard where I can also see the email details and get some tips for improving my email deliverability. Of course, I can also check my own email inbox. When you first create a Resend account, you can only send from onboarding at resend.dev to your own email inbox. So you'll need to add a custom domain to authorize Resend to send on your behalf. In the Resend dashboard, select domains and then add a new domain. We typically recommend using a subdomain to section off certain types of sending. The benefit is that if one subdomain has deliverability issues, it's less likely to affect all the sending from your domain. In order to authorize Resend to send on your behalf, you'll need to add specific DNS records to your domain. Here, I'm using Cloudflare, which means I have a one-click installation to add all of these domain records to my account. I'll just need to authorize. If you're using a different provider that doesn't support this protocol, you can add each of these records one at a time. Once these records propagate, Resend will update the status, showing that you can send now from your custom domain. So let's update the call in my server action with the custom domain. This time, when I send the email, Resend will send from my domain, and once again, I can check the email in the dashboard, and I can also check it in my own inbox to confirm. All right, this is great, but I'm guessing you want an email that actually looks good. So let's build an email template using React Email. If you haven't heard of it before, React Email is an open source library of unstyled React components. You can build in React, TypeScript, and even Tailwind, and React Email will render old school, email-friendly HTML. And you thought we were going to be writing HTML tables by hand. You can view these example templates or individual components for inspiration. Notice that because it's just React, you can pass props and get type safety through your stack. There's even a full preview server that runs compatibility checks right alongside your code so you can ensure that it will render well in all email clients. I've actually already got a simple contact form email ready for us, so let's add that to the call. I'll import the template and then let's update the call. Resend is React email friendly, so you can just swap out the HTML for the React component. And that's it. Now let's send it and check the email inbox. That's all it takes to modernize your email creation and sending. Now, there are lots of little UX improvements we could make to the project, but let's sneak in just one, the new View Transitions React component. Import View Transitions from React, and then wrap both the success and error message with the component. That's it. It tells the browser to animate between states automatically using native browser APIs. So this time when I submit the form, the success message gracefully fades in. What a cool little UX enhancement, all built into the browser and into Next.js. If you're interested more in in-depth guides on using Resend to create waitlist forms, handle auth flows, or more with Next.js or React, let us know below. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Happy sending.